Retail is changing faster than ever. How do we address these challenges and deliver world-class customer experience in this omni-channel world? Well, our retail clients are rapidly digitalizing their stores to strengthen the relationship with their customers and to raise their margins. At the same time, it has never been more important than now to make safe bets and to reduce risk. Today, we will share some experiences on how they balance innovation with risk reduction and what really raises the margins. Are you also ready to take action and to improve your stores? Well, stay tuned. In 2022, we are seeing a radical shift in retail, where consumers are returning to stores, but they expect so much more in terms of convenience and sustainability. This year, we are also seeing that retailers are really prioritizing the store digitalization to address this. But it is not always easy. Building new digital retail solutions is much more complicated than you would expect. Even connecting and integrating different ready-to-use point solutions often prove very challenging. In fact, according to McKinsey, most large retail software projects run over on both time and budget, and often by more than 200%. Another risk that needs managing is the one of data security. Building solutions for the distributed store environment is very different than for the centralized data center of the e-commerce world. According to CyberGRX, the average data breach cost $5.7 million to remediate. So deploying solutions to your stores without thinking through the data security quickly becomes very costly, both in terms of finance and in terms of consumer trust. In the current business climate, it has never been more important to move fast, but you need to do it by making safe bets and reducing risk. And this is where the Ombori Grid, the store digitalization platform, can add the most value. By using a single platform to create and deploy these solutions, you dramatically reduce the risk. And you only need one simple integration to your existing back-end systems to rapidly deploy multiple secure, tried and tested solutions to your environment. This, of course, also lowers the cost and reduces the time to market and allows us to focus on empowering your employees and improving the experience for the consumers, which ultimately leads to improved retailer margins. So how are our customers deploying the Ombori Grid? And what results are they seeing? Well, one area where we are focusing heavily right now is self-service. And self-checkout is a good example of this. Using self-checkout kiosks is a frictionless, established choice that consumers is already used to. However, Once we have deployed these to the stores, it makes a lot of sense to context switch the customers to use their own phone in the stores instead. This of course further reduces the queues, reduce the cart abandonment, and increase the basket size. And using the phone to do the transaction is often called scan and go. And many are building their own apps that you can download from the App Store or Google Play to solve this. But this is not the best approach. It's very difficult to get someone to download an app from the App Store on their first visit to the store because the friction is just too high. There's a much better approach, and that is using QR codes. And it works like this. The customer walks up to a screen or a printed sign, opens their camera, holds it over the QR code to scan it, and then immediately launches the app in the web browser of their phone. And the customer can then walk around the store, scan the barcodes, add things to their cart, or simply read reviews and compare the specifications of different products to do the very best shopping decisions. And there's another aspect of getting the customer to use their own phone while they are shopping in your store, and that is that we can build out their loyalty profile and present even more relevant recommendations for the upsell and the cross-sell. Once the customer is done, she pays directly on her phone and can then present the receipt to the staff before exiting the store. Another focus area of retailers today, which is not something new, but something that has been going on for a few years now, is to open smaller format stores with only a subset of their total inventory. And store digitalization is even more important in this format store. Because if you get a customer coming there and they are looking for something which is not currently in stock, you will lose the sale if you cannot close that online order right then and there. And this is when an endless aisle strategy comes into play. And endless aisle can be even more powerful when it is combined with self-checkout in what we call a split cart. And the split cart can be deployed both on kiosks, but also in the mobile experience that the customer can use throughout their store visit. And this enables the customer to add things to their cart that they are planning to bring with them at that time from that visit, and at the same time add other things to their cart which they plan to get delivered at a later date, but pay for everything in just one single transaction. And this is shown to drastically increase both the basket size and the total sales. Another very important area of store digitalization is the fitting room. Did you know that customers that use the fitting room is a whole 7 times more likely to make a purchase than those who only browse the shopping floor? Of course, this means that we need to give the customer proper care and attention in the fitting room with or without technology. But there are things to make the experience even better. And the Ombori Grid fitting room solution use RFID to automatically detect which garments that are brought with the customer into the fitting room, and it allows them to quickly order a different size or color by just tapping the screen. And because the customer is closer to making a purchase when they are in the fitting room, this is also the perfect opportunity to offer recommendations, for example, how to complete this look. And this is shown to drastically increase the basket size, but most importantly, it leads to much happier customers and increased customer satisfaction. All of the digital solutions that we put in the store is also an opportunity to gather data, both historical data and real-time data. And this is how we learn. This is how we improve the customer profiles to be able to give them an even better shopping experience and recommendations. but it's also how we learn, how we can improve the solutions that we are putting in the store to give an even better customer experience and receive even better results. And every kiosk solution that we are deploying in the store is feeding this data through the Ombori Grid Signals analytics system. And this can later be analyzed in dashboards, but it is also a real-time feed that is showing all of the customer behaviors that is happening right here and now in the store. And here we have a small screen to show this, and this does not look like much for the world, but it shows a real-time feed of what customers are putting in their carts. And where it starts to be really cool is when we think about how we can use this data being fed in real time. Because you can use it to show real-time recommendations to customers to improve their shopping experience on things like these large format screens, but also on their own mobile phones as they are navigating the store. This has been common sense for years when it comes to e-commerce, but in the store, this represents a new groundbreaking reality. The customer visit is an opportunity not only to transact, but also to strengthen the relationship between the brand and the customer, but also to take our responsibility towards a more sustainable future. And one case that we did together with Etihad Airways really illustrates this in a great way, and I would like to share that with you now. Isn't it cool to see how this was delivered from idea to production in just 2 weeks? An NPS score of 82 is also mind-blowing, and this of course led to many new Etihad guest loyalty signups. And most importantly, it was 5,200 bottles recycled in the first few weeks that ended up being reused instead of polluting our environment. And this is a really great example of how we can improve the relationship with our customers over time and take our responsibility for a more sustainable future. 2022 truly has been a year of radical change. And as we see that consumers have returned to stores, what people used to call the retail of the future is now the retail of today. And if you also want to take action and drastically improve your stores, then just shoot us an email at hello@ombori.com and we would love to talk to you. Thanks again for joining us here today and hope to speak to you soon. Cheers.